Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. Now, the escalation of the fallout between the Central Organization for Trade Unions, that's COTU, and the Federation of Kenya Employers, FKE, has gone a notch up. COTU Secretary-General Francis Atwoli has banned FKE's Executive Director, Jacqueline Mugo, from speaking at its events, as was seen on Thursday's 2025 Labor Day celebrations. Now, NTV's Brian George has looked into the concerns that Atwoli raises, as well as the speech that Mugo was to read, and now reports that the ban appears to be as a result of the employers refusing to join Atwoli and his team in being bedmates with the William Ruto administration, especially at the expense of the people they are primarily to represent.
The labor movement is witnessing a fallout that seems to be escalating. The Central Organization of Trade Unions Secretary-General Francis Atwoli has faulted the Federation of Kenya Employers and its Executive Director Jacqueline Mugo for what he terms as lack of cooperation in defending workers' rights and even allegedly refusing to implement the 6% minimum wage increment announced in 2024. In the 2025 Labor Day celebrations program, the usual FKE slot to address the gathering was scrapped, and so Mugo was no longer a speaker but an attendee, pointing out that her prepared speech addressed the concerns on minimum wage implementation.
For employers, we were disappointed that we were not given a chance to address the crowd and make a statement on behalf of employers, because employers are part of the labor sector. It runs on workers, on employers, and on governments. So that was unfortunate, and we're just appealing that if there are any issues which need to be resolved, they should be resolved through social dialogue.
Speaking on the day after the celebrations, Atwoli said that Mugo has failed to honor the invite to speak at an annual event.
Inawasaidia kuguide them that now 6% serikali imeongeza, employer wake ni lazima ongeze 6%. Na mama anakataa, anapeleka watu Kidioro. Alafu sisi tunawapatia nafasi ya kuongea katika mkutano wetu, anafika huko nje, anaanza kufanya mambo mengine tofauti. Yeye hapana yuko genuine. Na so long as, mimi nakwambia, so long as sisi na wenzetu tuko kwa leadership ya wafanyikazi katika nchi hii, huyo mama tutampa nafasi ya kuongea katika mikutano yetu. Haki ya Mungu hatutampa nafasi sisi.
The speech that was gagged at the event had issues that would not sit well with the government, as well as workers' union boss who is boldly aligning with the state. In the speech that Atwoli and presumably the state denied an opportunity to be publicly read out, FKE had various proposals, some even touching on employees. First, the employers called on the government to ease the cost of living, increasing the disposable income of the lowest income earners, and make Kenyan businesses more competitive. How do they propose this is achieved? Well, by pegging statutory deductions to basic pay, lowering the housing levy to 0.5% from the current 1.5%, revising the tax relief bands to 36,000 Kenya shillings from the current 24,000 Kenya shillings. Further, FKE says Kenyans' economic burdens can be eased by zero-rating the value-added tax on basic food items. Next on, FKE says government should offer clarity on Kenya's economic direction. Is Kenya positioning herself as a producing or trading country? FKE and the business community desire a producing country. Then, having collaborative win-win engagements and social dialogue to make the country work successfully. The employer's body wants the government to assure businesses of stable, predictable, simple, business-friendly taxation policy framework. They say that this will support the business growth, encourage capital formation and promote investments, create sufficient employment and enable payment of higher wages. FKE equally says it is dishonest to push educated, unemployed youth to create jobs, stating that in its view, solution is to support business growth to create employment. In a position that FKE Director Jacqueline Mugo said would likely not sit well with COTU Secretary-General Francis Atwoli, is that in addition, statutory minimum wages or introducing any levy, a balance needs to be struck to ensure that there is protection of the welfare of workers as well as allowing businesses to grow. On the 6% minimum wage increment, FKE says it advised its members to fully comply from 1st November 2024. Further, on the presidential directive to ratify the International Labour Organization Convention 189 and 190, FKE says its concern is that Kenya must follow all the required steps before ratification, and to date, no comprehensive report confirms full compliance. Brian George Otieno, NTV, Nairobi.